Iver's album I, I is one of the most captivating records I've ever listened to. On it, Justin Vernon and his collaborators create a sublime blend of musical experimentation, engaging melodies, and, as always, inscrutable yet profound lyrics. When I dropped in 2019, I simply couldn't stop pushing play. But as I insatiably absorbed Bon Iver's work, another magnificent artist kept springing to mind: the poet E.e. Cummings. E.e. Cummings was one of the most prominent figures of the modernist movement that swelled up in the early 20th century. Cummings is most well known for frequently pushing the limits of language in his poetry. Some of Cummings' poems dabble in traditional forms, such as the sonnet. Others contort language into a physical resemblance of their subjects. On occasion, Cummings' work explodes form, structure, and punctuation altogether, so as to be, if not barely readable, then practically unpronounceable. Sitting with a Cummings poem is not unlike standing in front of a painted masterpiece. It can't be simply consumed. It demands digestion and contemplation. And as with any great piece of art, Cummings' challenging work opens up a dialogue between both poet and reader. As Paul Muldoon, the former poetry editor of The New Yorker, asks, "What do all these typographical hijinks signify?" Muldoon goes on to conjecture that perhaps the disregard for punctuation allows the reader a more active role in the process of reading, providing the opportunity to entertain multiple interpretations. Indeed, many of Cummings' poems seem deliberately designed for this kind of reader engagement. Chasmic line breaks tumble us into thought and reflection, while Cummings' word fusions compel us to read with the sharp precision of a surgeon's scalpel. Bon Iver's music is similarly enthralling. Throughout I, the band bends and twists songcraft, implementing an ingenious mixture of conventional instrumentation with sophisticated studio and stage innovation, at times sticking close to traditional song structure, at others deconstructing it. The melodies can stick in your mind, prompting you to hum along, while Justin Vernon's signature falsetto and harmonies mask the lyrics to the point of being nearly unintelligible.
Full time, you talk your money up while it's living in a coal mine. Full time to call your ma, hey ma, hey ma.
But Bon Iver's work isn't intended to be an exclusively auditory experience. During the production of I, and its predecessor, 22 A Million, the band collaborated closely with Brooklyn-based artist Eric Timothy Carlson to create a visual language for the records. This synthesis of music and art is experienced most profoundly in videos created for each album. Largely eschewing the traditional music video format, Bon Iver and Carlson created lyric videos that are a collage of images, cryptic iconography, and song lyrics that unfold on screen in a way that can be best described as Cummings-esque.
Stayed at the Ace Hotel, calm but loud. I would just be floating to you now. It would make me pass to let it pass on. I'm climbing the dash, let's get.
There's a deeper connection, however, between Bon Iver, specifically frontman Justin Vernon, and E.e. Cummings than an avant-garde approach to their respective artistic mediums. This connection is most clearly seen, I think, in their perception of self and the referent I. Cummings famously employed a lowercase I in his work when referring to himself, an affectation that was not only poetic but deeply personal. As Cummings wrote, "It's significant for me to distinguish clearly two I's and decide which I'll be." Cummings saw his capital I as short, hateful, and dogmatic. On the other hand, he describes his lowercase I as warm, cheerful, adventurous, with a quick sense of humor. The world is a perpetual amazement to him. I suspect there's a similar duplex, to use Cummings' expression, in Justin Vernon. It could be said, after all, that Bon Iver originated within a capital I context, as Vernon, in the midst of personal crisis and debilitating depression, retreated to his family's hunting cabin in Eau Claire, Wisconsin during the dead of winter. What emerged out of isolation along with Vernon was his breakout album For Emma Forever Ago.
Come on, skinny love, just let's sing it. For a little soul we will never eat.
At a juncture such as this, it would have seemed only natural that Justin Vernon continue Bon Iver as a solo act, a capital I. What has happened in the years since For Emma Forever Ago, however, has been quite the opposite. Vernon has lowercased himself, and Bon Iver has grown into not just a band, but a musical collective, with a wide swath of artists coming and going with each song and record.
This whole project did start out just kind of by myself, but all the support I've had and watching the music grow in the last 10 years because of those influences, and then also me realizing to relent.
Something that E. Cummings and Bon Iver remind me of is this: no one is really a capital I, even if some of us would like to believe it. We are all, in truth, lowercase. We are small and fleeting, but no less valuable or precious for being so. In fact, losing oneself is the first step to gaining oneself. All nearness pauses, while a star can grow. All distance breathes a final dream of bells, perfectly outlined against afterglow, are all amazing in the peaceful hills. Not where, not here, but neither's blue most both. And history immeasurably is wealthier by a single sweet day's death, as not imagined secrecies comprise goldenly huge whole the upfloating moon. Time's a strange fellow, more he gives than takes, he takes all. Nor any marvel finds quite disappearance, but some keener makes losing, gaining, love. If a world ends, more than all worlds begin to, begin.